This is Tony Stark, the billionaire playboy genius that inherited Stark Industries from his late father, a company that designs weapons for the military. One day, after Tony gives a weapon presentation in Afghanistan, the convoy transporting him is attacked by a group of terrorists, and he takes a chest full of shrapnel, which would have been lethal if the enemy hadn't attached a car battery to his heart. In order to survive, Tony agrees to build a weapon, but he knows that he's dead either way. So in secret, he designs a miniature battery for his heart that could also power a weaponized suit that could help him escape. And that he does. Upon returning home, Tony is a changed man. He decides to dismantle his weapons division immediately, and focus all of his efforts and resources into perfecting his Iron Man suit, in an attempt to save others from the dangers that Stark Industries has put into the world. Iron Man, released in 2008, is the first film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was directed by Jon Favreau, which couldn't have been a better decision since Jon perfectly set the stage for future MCU films. Iron Man is a fun movie. It's exciting, witty, and just all around an enjoyable movie. It has snappy dialogue, well-rounded characters, the direction and the technical elements are all solid. Everything you like about the modern Marvel movies, excluding some of the fantasy elements, it's all present here in this first movie. Robert Downey Jr. absolutely kills it as Tony Stark. His performance of a billionaire playboy genius is just perfect. His character is brilliant, but he's selfish and childish. He doesn't care about anyone. When Tony Stark is in the caves, you watch his character completely transform into a hero. And with his performance and the excellent direction, it feels totally organic and believable. This entire movie, you're watching Tony transform into a better person. Well, not just that, into a superhero. But his isn't the only standout performance here. Terrence Howard is fun, and watching him get upset with Tony is always humorous. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper is more than just a typical love interest. She's been babysitting Tony for years, and with her being the only person Tony can rely on, their relationship needs a bit of mending, and with Tony being a changed man, it's all kinda nice. Finally though, we've got Jeff Bridges, the second-in-command of Stark Industries, who was partners with Tony's father and is now basically a mentor and a family friend. I absolutely love Jeff Bridges in this movie. He's just so likable. And I don't know, I just want to give him a hug. Which is really cool because he's the main antagonist in this movie, and I love every single scene he's in. I think he plays the character perfectly. However, I don't think his character, as the main villain, is very interesting. I can't really blame Iron Man for having a half-baked bad guy. This is an origin and a redemption story. The heart of this whole movie is on Tony Stark and making him not only a believable superhero, but a lovable one. The first and the second act of the movie could have been everything you needed to set this character up, but you do need that final act, the big showdown. You need some big powerful threat to take down. Iron Man spends enough time setting up the villain, making him plausible enough, giving him motivation, and doing just enough to justify the fight at the end. The problem isn't that the showdown isn't earned. The problem is that by the time you reach the climax of the movie, all this stuff feels a little bit like an afterthought. The ending is satisfying enough, even though it feels like the movie is running a bit on autopilot by this point. But don't get me wrong, the entirety of Iron Man is good. It's all solid. The good elements of this movie heavily outweigh the bad, and there's a lot going on. It's impressive how well everything works in the movie, and it never gets stale. It isn't until the end of the movie that it starts feeling a bit more like a typical superhero flick, and that's not a bad thing. There are a lot of great influences that Iron Man pulls from, but it stands on its own very well. Iron Man is a crowd pleaser. It checks all of those boxes. It's an engaging, epic, and energized superhero movie with humor that almost always lands and a perfectly serviceable script. This isn't my favorite superhero movie, or my favorite superhero, but I don't think the first MCU movie could have been much better than this. I definitely recommend it.